Hello everyone. Thanks for coming back and doing some yoga with me. Today we are going to be restoring the body through yin postures, gentle postures, just to get into those deeper parts of the body, the fascial tissue, the stuff that wraps all around muscle. So a few more props required, and I say required loosely. You can use things like pillows if you don't have a bolster. You can use hardcover books if you don't have blocks. So grab your props, grab all the things, and we're gonna start on our backs, setting up in a supported fish pose. So grab your blocks. I want one block on the highest level. The second block is on this lowest level. And then you're gonna grab your bolster and take yourself here. If you don't have a bolster, no big deal. You can actually do it without one. It's just a little less restorative here. So let me position this so I've got a little bit more stability, like so. You're gonna lay your body just down over the bolster, and then we're gonna take Supta Baddha legs, bound angle, soles of the feet touch, knees go wide. This should feel really easy, not a lot that you're working in, not a lot of muscle involvement here. Knees are wide. Now, if you do feel like this is too much on your hips, you can place more props, pillows, blocks, something underneath the thighs. But for now, I want you just to open your heart. Maybe your palms are up. Maybe they're just palms down by your side, whatever feels easy here. We hold these postures a little bit longer. So for me, this practice is often more times challenging than a vinyasa flow where we're moving a lot because my mind starts to have all the thoughts in the world. Everything comes up. So if you are like me, or maybe you're not and you just are loving it and you don't think about anything else, but if you're like me, allow your breath to be your guide here. Allow your breath to be the thing that you put your attention and focus to. So that may look like counting the number of seconds it takes to reach the top of the inhalation breath and counting the exhalations. You're gonna see a few different postures to support each part of the body. So this is just an all-around restorative flow designed maybe to end your day with or to start your day with, depending on what you're really looking for. Hoping to leave the body a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more at ease than when you started. And feeling that support underneath your heart. Breathe into that space. Let the breath be natural, unforced. Noticing what comes up. If it's a thought, maybe unwanted, imagine, visualize, drawing a little cloud around that thought, bubble it up, and then just send it on its way. Coming back to the breath. Each time we return, each time we practice mindfulness. We'll take a few more breaths here. Use your hands just to draw the knees in towards the center. And just for a second, knock your knees in towards each other. It may feel good to get a little bit of movement here. Windshield wiper the legs side to side. Good. And then use your hands, lift yourself up. We're going to transition forward onto our bellies. Have your props available nearby just so you know that they're there for you. You may not want them. So we're gonna start in a chest stretch. We're coming all the way down to our belly. And we're gonna wrap open towards the side. So give yourself some space if you have your props out beside you. We're gonna bring our arm to the side and then cactus the arm. So you're making a 90-degree angle with that right arm. Bring the right side of the face down to the mat and then just start to open. Now, your left shoulder may not stack all the way open on top of the right. Your left hip may not stack all the way open. You may be able to prop yourself up here, but honestly, sometimes this right here is enough for me. You can do this up against a wall too if it's not super comfortable on your side, on your belly here. And if you feel this in your low back too much, bend into the knees and just stack them on top of each other. Feel this lengthening, feel this stretch right in the pectoral muscles. Maybe you feel this neck stretch as you twist your head to the side. We'll be here for just a little bit longer. This posture we don't hold for a super long time. We'll just come back to it. Good. Bring yourself back through the center. Notice the difference already from the right to the left. We'll bring our left hand out to the side. So you can have straight arm, hand in line with the shoulder, and then cactus at the arm. You can shift yourself over. And again, one side may be a little bit different than the other. You may need to adjust your legs, adjust your hands. Making sure that we hit this upper part of the body. It's often neglected or often so tight. Breathing right into that place that feels a little sticky here. Good, last 3. Gently bring yourself back through the center. We're gonna set up for a Sphinx Pose. It's a little bit difficult to say, actually. So Sphinx Pose, our forearms are on the ground and our elbows are underneath our shoulders. Now, you can do this with many assisted props. So blocks underneath your forearms might be your favorite option, as it's kind of in between on the ground. You may not feel much, and arms straight may be a little bit too intense here. The other option is actually to use your bolster and place it underneath your hips, just as a little aid there too, a little cushion, and to take out some of the intensity. Let your head just drop down to the center. Soften in the low back. Steady, deep breaths. Last few here. And then gently come up off of the blocks. We're going to take a shoulder stretch. Now, if you have sensitive knees, you can place a blanket or your bolster underneath your knees. But first, we're going to get into puppy dog pose. Your hands are just out in front of you. Your hips are stacked on top of your knees. And your forehead just softens down to the ground. Some of you may be able to keep your chin on the mat. That requires a bit more effort on the next part. So most likely just forehead on the ground, soften in the shoulders. If you want to add more triceps into this, it may be bending at the elbows, bringing the hands back between the shoulder blades. And steady breath. Nice lengthening of the spine as well. From here, we're going to slide the right hand underneath the body. Right shoulder down, right side of the face down. The left hand can simply just stack on top of the right. You also may like wrapping it around for the top of the right thigh, just slowly opening up. It doesn't have to be super intense here. You're also getting this subtle stretch for the neck. Just a few more breaths here. Just working our way down the body with each of our stretches. Good. Go ahead and unwind that right side and let's switch left hand threads across the body, left side of the face down. The same arm variation that you took on the other side. And last few breaths. Bring yourself underneath and just lift yourself up. As you lift yourself up, tuck your toes behind you. Let's come into broken toe pose. So this can be really intense. You can eliminate that intensity by placing a bolster or block underneath your sits bones on those heels. Your palms are down. Let's simply just drop our right ear to our right shoulder. That's a nice stretch, lengthening here. You can even extend that left arm long just to feel this sensation travel down to the fingertips. Drop your chin in towards the chest. And then over towards the other side. Notice if your feet are talking to you, that's normal, that's common. This is such a great stretch that really is involved with the entire body, this broken toe pose. So it's a good one to revisit when you have a moment. Get into those feet. Bring your hands forward, tap your feet out, roll out the ankles, scrunch the toes. Amazing work. Learning to hold that one for longer is so great, but it takes time to build up to that. So we are coming to the wide side of our mat. I want you to extend your right leg long, left sole of the foot in, and then we're going to place a block so that we are on the outside of that right knee. It can be on this kind of lower level, medium level. And it can also be scooted away from the body, just depending on flexibility. Where we're targeting is this left side, this left hip. Your elbow is going to come to the block and then your hand to the head. The left side of the body is heavy, relaxed. Relax your foot too. Keep this really soft. Big stretch. And stay here. And feel that left knee sinking into the mat. Good. Lift yourself up. Little counter stretch. Just bring that left hand down, come up onto the knee, reach, up and over, push those hips. And come on down. Let's switch sides. So right sole of the foot, inside of the left thigh. Transition, shift your way. Bring that block to that outside of the left knee. It can be up on the thigh or even towards that calf. And then just rest left elbow to the head. Soften in here. I'm feeling the stretch now, kind of onto the right side, into your QLs, down into that lower back, even the hip, you'll feel this. Coming back to your breath. Mindfulness around that. Thinking about the seconds it takes to reach the top of the inhalation breath. And the exhale breath, does it match? Good, here for just a little bit longer. Yourself all the way up. Bring your hand down to the ground. Little opposite counter stretch. Push those hips. And then let it go. All right, we're going to come back to our hips in double pigeon. So if double pigeon is not accessible, I can give you plenty of other options, but I want to walk you through double pigeon first. Left shin, I want it parallel to the top of the mat. Right shin parallel on top of the left. Now, you're going to notice I've got this floating thigh here. We all have it. At least some of us do. Most normal people do, but if you're superhuman, I love that too for you. So allow the thigh to rest on a block underneath as a little support too. You may not need it. And with time, it kind of loosens. It kind of softens, right? You're able to gently come into this. Maybe a block comes out in front of you, maybe forearms on the block and you fold in. You should be feeling this in your outer hips. Now, if this isn't working for you, you can always come on down to your back and just take reclined pigeon, that figure 4 shape. But maybe explore something new here. Work with your blocks. You can even set up a full-on station to rest your chest on as you get into this a little bit deeper, relaxing the upper body. Just take this to where you can today. Don't force it. It doesn't need to be 80 to 90 to 100% of your stretch. It can be even in the 50 to 70% range. And we'll be here for a little bit longer. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Last few here. And start to lift yourself back up. If you took it that way, bring your legs out in front of you for a second just to windshield wiper the legs side to side. You should feel a difference between that right and left, just starting to stimulate that muscle tissue, that fascial tissue. And then we're going to switch sides. So you bring that right shin parallel to the top of the mat, and then the left shin parallel to the right shin. You want both sits bones down. Give it a second. Let that thigh kind of figure out how to relax, how to soften in, how to get that hip evening out with the right. And then maybe you lean forward. You may not be able to come to your chest on a pillow or bolster out in front of you. You may not be able to rest your forehead on a block. Take this to where you feel supported, but you're not crawling and waiting to get out of it. Find that in-between sweet spot. Feel this lengthening in the side of the body, that stretch. Soften in. Relax the fingers, relax the feet. Let this be easy. Good, last few breaths here. And then start to lift yourself up. Ooh, bring your legs out in front of you, wiggle them out. All right, we're gonna take a seated forward fold. Now I wanna give you the option, the choice here. Legs can be totally straight together. I'll demo that first. Legs together. You can be sitting on a block if the legs aren't straight. You can also rest a block or a bolster to round your body in. And I'm okay with this rounding forward. You don't have to have a flat back really engaged here. That's fine. You can go with that rounding in this posture. If you're feeling more inner thigh work needs to be done, try extending your legs. You may have to turn yourself to the side here in this wide leg fold. And then the third option is bringing soles of the feet touch knees wide and folding forward. We did that kind of on our back, so choose an option that you like the most. I'm gonna take this wider leg variation because I just need it, I know I do. And I may be able to lean on a block here or a bolster. As you can see, I've been setting up a lot of this with this taller block and this lower level here, and then just folding forward. So drop into this however you can so that your upper body's not working. You can rest your head, rest your shoulders, and then just soften into the legs. Notice where you feel this intensity or the resistance. I feel it all in my inner thighs, right where that connection to my glutes is. So just notice. If you're in the legs together version, maybe you feel this more into the lower back or more into the hamstrings. If you have your head resting, just make sure to turn to both sides. Last few breaths here. And then you'll start to come up, move your props out of the way and off to the side. We're going to come down to our backs. We've made it all the way there, flat on our back for a moment. Legs come in, hug those knees in towards the chest. Rock side to side. Maybe make circles in one direction, just allowing this movement. It should feel pretty good. Scrunch all the toes, roll out the ankles. And then bring the soles of the feet down to the mat here. I want to set up for a supported bridge pose. This is maybe my favorite restorative posture. And that's great. You find a posture that you love and you just keep doing it. Grab one of your blocks or a hardcover book, lift those hips, slide it underneath that flattest part of the back. Pretty much instantaneously, your low back gets this nice release, this decompression of the spine. Your legs are not having to work to hold you up at all. You're just resting on your mat. Some of you, if you don't have any low back pain when you do this, you can extend your legs long. You can make this more of a deeper psoas stretch here. And you let everything get really heavy on the mat. Not a lot of things for you to do or to think about. So we come back to that breath, that mindfulness as we return to it. Good, breathe in. Breathe out, surrendering, hips getting heavier. We're here for another few moments. And then lift yourself off of the block slowly. Slide it over. And then drop your hips down one vertebra at a time. Hug those knees in again for a second. Head stays heavy. And then let your knees fall over to the right side just for an easy supine twist. We're here for just a few breaths. This isn't as long of a hold. Bring your knees back to the center and then over towards the other side, shifting the hips ever so slightly. And when you're ready, you come back to the center. It's our final Savasana. All I really want you to do is set up in a way that's really restorative. I'm going to grab this bolster and place it underneath my knees, just as a little demonstration of how you can still keep your spine really nice and long, relaxed, and still restful in this position. Fill up as much space as you can on your mat. Let your eyes close. Take an exhale breath, deep, let it out. Your final Savasana. welcome to stay here on your back as long as you need. Please don't rush out of this. Some of the sweetest moments are in our Savasana, where we can just finally lay still for a moment. So please stay in it as long as you can. And if you're starting to wake the body up, you wiggle the toes, invite some movement back in, maybe side to side, the head. Come up however you'd like into a seated position, keeping your eyes lowered, closed. Maybe you're sitting on a block or a bolster underneath you, just to create that nice upright spine. Bring your hands right at heart center. Together we take one final inhale breath through the nose. Exhale, let it go. Bring your thumbs between the brows, third eye center. The light and love in me honors and recognizes the light and love in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me in that 30-minute little restorative all-body flow. We'll be offering so many more classes, so make sure to check them out. See you guys next time.